long, isn't it? I don't know. I think I enjoyed it, really. A bit more, in a way.
Shorter?
Yeah. I don't like films being too long.
Were there different approaches? Did Lindsay Anderson sort of give you a different editorial brief in terms of how you approach the film from If?
No, I don't get. You don't get much brief at the beginning. I mean, it's just how things emerge. Because the film is. This is a film that was made before the digital era, and it was when everything was in cans and lots of film. It has to be cut up and that sort of thing. And a lot of the work is done by an assistant who's sitting down here. Can I invite Ian up?
Absolutely, Ian. Please come and sit up here. Would you like to come and sit up, please? And we've got another microphone as well. Thank you very much. Ian Reckoff, who was David's assistant. Thank you. Yeah, are you sure? Yeah. Yeah, no, use the steps. Yeah.
Is there a chair?
No, I'll stand up. I've been sitting down for 3 hours.
Come on, Ian.
I was not just an assistant.
No, sorry. You made it possible for David to go.
Theoretically.
Do use the microphone if you like, yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
No, I mean, at the end of If, Lindsay offered me a bigger credit, because I just got assistant credit on that. Well, I was, the fact of the matter is, I was the last one with Lindsay for the last 4 months or something.
Well, we can explain the reason for that. Let's go into the reason for that, because I was off the picture. I spent a year on this picture. A year. It's surprising, isn't it, really? Whereas If was 6 months, this was a year, but then some problem cropped up. I left after my year, which we can go into the problem sometime, but Ian took over with Lindsay and spent another, how long after I'd left?
6 months or something.
Another 6 months.
Yeah.
Ian spent on
well,
problems.
it was all post-production.
In post-production, yes, because the problem was that when it was wanted for release in America, is it all right to talk about this at this stage? Because when it was wanted for release in America, they in America wanted, and it's true, and they wanted 10 minutes taken out of it.
What were you? Sorry, you're talking about this film or If?
It was this film.
Yeah. Sorry.
Wasn't it?
Yes. But I was just saying, my situation I don't have my name on Oh Lucky Man, but I probably worked the longest of anybody in the cutting rooms.
Well, why didn't you have your name on it?
I walked out. And then 2 years, a year later, it's all right, you explain it about the 10 minutes.
Well, the Americans wanted 10 minutes out in order to take it, so Lindsay took 10 minutes out, which, as it happens, was very specifically a reel. I mean, the films in those days were made up in 10-minute sections, which were reels. And as it happens, it was just one reel, wasn't it? That was taken out.
No, it wasn't.
Well,
it expanded by a minute and a half or 2 minutes.
I do feel maybe that this is a conversation we could continue perhaps in the bar. just about the details of the reel and the 10 minutes, if you don't mind, David, if that's all right, because I'd like to give...
I'm talking about character and how Lindsay, and insight into Lindsay's behaviour.
Absolutely. No, that's great. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, 2 years before it was going to go to America, or after, or something, the film went out at a certain length, and I resigned. I walked off because Lindsay wouldn't give me a credit as a writer. I turned down a credit on If. I mean, I've got my credit on If, but he said I had to have a bigger credit. And what he said to me, and I said, I can't do it, Lindsay, we can't change the credits because we're not going to make cans. That's all, we won't be able to open the film. Because the start of If was one long credit, and it had taken me ages to get it right for Lindsay. Then at the last minute he says, well, you've done so much here, I mean, this is ridiculous. You deserve a proper credit. And I said,
Ian, look, it's true that we ought to
I think
this detail in the bar.
I think we'll need to think about the credits a little bit later. No, thank you so much for coming up, and of course for being here.
I wanted to bring Ian in because he had done so much, did do so much on it, and it did extend long beyond what I did. I didn't know about this thing about credits. I don't know that.
No, I mean, you know.
I was off
It
it.
just relates to what happened on Oh Lucky Man.
Right, yeah.
That's
the
what it's
problem.
well.
It's not a boring conversation.
No, we only have about 16 minutes here. We have to give the audience a chance to speak. But Jonathan, thank you both very much. Jonathan, again, this is arguably, I think, your most favoured of Lindsay Anderson's films. You've supported it abroad, you've shown the film elsewhere as well. Could you talk about what it means to you now, again, sort of many years after it was made, how you think it sort of speaks to our times now?
Well, I disagree, first of all, that it feels too long. As you said in your introduction, kind of content dictates form and dictates length in the case of this film. And I don't, I'm not a film editor, so I don't know how these guys establish the rhythm of a film, which to me is what dictates the viewing experience for the viewer. But to me, this has a very easy and a very natural rhythm. I mean, I've seen some very long films recently. I've seen Les Enfants du Paradis again recently. I've seen this. I saw Barry Lyndon in the cinema a few years ago, and all three of those films flew by. And just to take a random example, I saw a film recently called What a Whopper, which is 80 minutes long, and it felt like about 2.5 weeks watching this film. And I think as Lindsay Anderson was at pains to say about this film and several of his others, it's an epic. That was the genre he was aiming for. And although it's full of small, minutely observed moments, at the same time it has this extraordinary scope, which to me is what makes it unique among British films. It's very hard to think of another British film of that era, or indeed any era, which has that kind of ambition and which aims to speak. I mean, it's sometimes called a State of the Nation film. I think Britannia Hospital is a State of the Nation film. So is If, in a way. Both of those films take institutions, the public school and the hospital, as kind of microcosms of society. But Oh Lucky Man for me probably is the greatest of the trilogy because it's a human condition film, and that came out very strongly to me watching it again this time. The way that the film is kind of cut into two halves by the prison section. Before that, Mick Travis is trying to succeed. After that, he's trying to do good. And what the film seems to be saying in the final scenes is that both of those positions are kind of naive, and all you can do really is to accept. And that's what he ends up doing.
Thank you very much indeed. We've got so little time. I'd just love to hear comments, thoughts, responses, questions, of course. Is it the first time that people have seen the film? Many people have seen the film? Great to hear those responses, or people who know the film very well, seeing it again this time. Yes, just up the top there, yeah. Thank you very much. Can I just get a sense of how many people might want to say something, just so we can give everyone a chance to speak?
I've seen this film countless times, but it's my first time seeing it with an audience. And something that struck me, I don't know if it struck everyone else, was that everyone was laughing at different things at different times. It wasn't